Hey guys, how's it going? Chien here. I got a really exciting podcast for you guys today. Today we're going to talk about Bohdri, a new website that you can use to find jobs and gigs in the theme entertainment industry. Or if you work for a company, you can find talent in this industry. I just applied and created a profile. You could put your skills, abilities, your jobs, your portfolio, lots of stuff on there. Today, I'm talking with Alex Kaye and Jacob Birding, the founders of Bohdri, and they're going to talk a little bit about their website and all it does. So stay tuned, guys. And one, we are recording. Okay, we are recording. Hey guys, how's it going? Chien here with another Theme Park Arts podcast. Today we have a very special, two special guests, Alex Kaye and Jacob Birding from Bohdri. We're going to talk about their website. It's a platform that connects companies and professionals in the theme entertainment industry. Today, they're going to talk a little about their website and how it works and give us a little walkthrough. Alex and Jacob, would you guys like to do a quick intro about you guys, yourself?
Sure, of course. Jacob, you're up, man.
Yeah. So I am the developer on Bohdri. Been in the themed entertainment industry since 2013. Went to SCAD and started in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cool, cool.
Um, I've been in the theme entertainment world for 10 plus years. I guess it is. The last 6 years was running a design firm here in Los Angeles, and that's kind of where Bohdri kind of was created. Honestly, there's always this hiccup in themed entertainment that the world is so small. However, getting companies and talent to connect was always really difficult. It was on our side, on the company side, just finding the talent out there and finding new talent and fresh talent, as well as people we had just not worked with in the past. It's still very much word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth.
Is we wanted to really democratize that information. We wanted to have a place that people could go, talent could go, as well as company could go and get connected on projects that they're working on now, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a very simple to use is format. So, Jacob and I started talking and just brainstorming and really out of frustration of how could we fix this issue. And we said, well, why don't we actually do this thing? Why don't we just build it and see how how we can make this thing roll out? So that's what we've done. It's kind of exciting. We're like, unleashing our baby into the world and seeing, if how people respond. It's been really magical. It's been really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a special moment. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with us. How long has Bohdri been online? Like,
So,
how many years have you guys been developing this?
we've been in beta since about August, September of last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so pretty new.
Yeah, and then we did a launch at IAPA this past year, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then really it's been since the beginning of the year this year that we've actually had version 1 up and running. So I mean, it's she's a baby. We're talking about like a month old at this point, so it's
Yeah.
it's really
Got
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
Cool. Right now, about how many users are you looking at? I mean, are we still in the beta test mode? So you're not like, testing it until it crashes or something, right? Um,
So we're out of beta actually. So
out
our
of beta.
version 1 is actually
Okay.
as of the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
and we've got a couple hundred individual members, and we've got 20 plus companies actually up at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and then going back and forth and getting connected. So it's we are hoping to get like critical mass by probably the end of this year, beginning of next year, so that we're actually breaking it. Like it's
Yeah.
on all 8 cylinders kind of thing. But for the
Okay.
moment, it's doing its thing. Who knew, Chris? It's like actually doing its thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do it.
Alex gets shocked every time I show him something new. He's like a little kid. I love it.
You actually built a thing, Jacob. You did
We did it.
it.
But yeah, would you like to go ahead and give us a walkthrough about how your website works?
Sure. Yeah, of course. So this is the Bohdri dashboard.
Okay.
Uh, this we'll explore the individual member side first.
Okay.
So it's the whole purpose of Bohdri is to get you on, get you connected, and not have a lot of extra fluff everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole purpose is to get you connected and get you out there and getting gigs. So it really works on the member side quickly on Discover Jobs, right? So basically what you do is when you go into the Discover Jobs category, it'll bring up, depending on your profile, it'll bring up the projects and the gigs that are available to you in your area.
Mm-hmm.
What you do when you first sign up in Bohdri is you actually create a profile.
Mm-hmm.
So in your profile, you have your bio, of course, you've got your roles.
Yeah.
And, understanding that people in theme entertainment work in a variety of different roles, right? You might come in as an art director, but you're also an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sometimes you take on more show set design work.
Mm-hmm.
So in response to that, we said, well, you probably have about 5 roles max that you work in. So we list those out, right? So you can have up to 5 roles on your profile, and you can order those, right? What's your first choice versus 5th choice?
So we're not put in a box because people are multi-talented.
Exactly, yeah. Especially in theme entertainment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, theme entertainment people are all over the place, and we really wanted to respect that, so that you're not just, like you said, put into that box.
This is cool. It's designed by designers for the designers in this industry.
Yeah, and it's with Bohdri, we really wanted to capture the entire breadth of the theme entertainment industry, right? So even though Jacob and I come from a creative background as designers in theme entertainment, we also wanted to appeal to people that are in technical and operations, administration side. So there are 5 different categories actually that individuals can sign up as far as disciplines, and then those break down even further. So. In addition, you can put the programs that you work in, right? The 7 top programs that you might work in. All this information is actually going into the algorithm of Bohdri to then connect you with the perfect gig, right?
Yeah.
Past that, you can actually input jobs that you've been on in the past. And then on top of that, you can request reviews from people that you've worked for in the past, right?
Yeah, that's important. Is it like a Yelp? Like, do you have like 5 stars, 4 stars, kind of like that?
Right. It's very similar, actually. We can, on the dashboard, the talent reputation is completely anonymous, right? So talent can review companies, companies can review talent anonymously. So the whole idea is that we wanted it to be as candid as possible, right? So what we do is we call these the Bohdri batch reviews. Once we get a certain number of reviews together for you specifically, those reviews get kind of averaged out, and then you're able to see what your kind of the outcome is, right? So what you're looking at here is the strengths that you're from strongest to least strongest. So for instance, this person here, this is an example. This person here, the strongest category for them would be leadership team player.
Yeah.
And of course, they're not the fastest person in the world, right? They're not necessarily slow, but as far as their 4 categories, this is their weakest strength. So they'd be a leader first, collaborator, they have great quality, and then their speed. On top of that, we also bank the amount of time that you've been in the industry. So let's say you put in a bunch of jobs that you've been in theme entertainment, and those add up to 5 years. You're actually a journeyman in terms of Bohdri, right? So when companies are actually looking for people, they're looking for years of experience in the industry, right? Of course. So Bohdri gives them that information. At the same time, talent can actually see what the experience is for companies, right?
Yeah.
Are they a startup? Are they growing? Are they expanding? And then what are their strengths, right? Are they really good communicators? And maybe their culture is so-so, and their benefits are the weakest, but they're incredible people to work with. So, you can balance that out, right? And how you gauge and what you're looking for, what strengths you're looking for.
Wow,
so,
this is really transparent.
It is, yeah. I mean, but at the same time, you're not worried about, are they going to get mad at me because I gave them honest feedback, right? So we wanted to make sure that it was completely anonymous so that you didn't have to have those worries. You you can help your fellow people in the industry understand what's going on. So that's a bit about the reputation maker in Bohdri. And of course,
Okay.
as those start to calculate and add up, you'll start to see those populate up in the
Mhm.
right-hand corner. So I know we just went down a little rabbit hole, but in the profile, so that's where you would add your jobs and then of course your education. And at the very end of that, you can actually start adding your portfolio. We want
Okay.
to give people, and we want to give companies access to, who you are as a designer, who you are as a technical draftsman, who you are as an operator, what that looks like, in a
Mhm.
snapshot, right? So once you get your bio up and running, you can also start to add pieces to your calendar. So you can say when you're available, when you're not available. Are you on another
Mm.
job right now? You don't necessarily have to say what job you're on, right? But just
Yeah.
that you're available for work or you're not available for work. And then what that does is that opens you up for companies as well, right? So companies can start to understand your availability and when we can hire this incredible illustrator, right? We need Chris tomorrow. How do we get Chris
Oh,
tomorrow? Right? That kind of thing. Um, and then of course there's always the job postings, right? So once you put your calendar in, once you have your profile up,
mhm.
then what Bohdri does is it takes all the gigs out there,
Yeah.
filters them, and then presents you the best ones that are for you specifically, right?
Mhm.
And you can filter those by full-time, internship, part-time, just project hire, and of course all the disciplines that we have, and then all the roles that we have on top of that, right?
Mm.
So the roles are quite vast depending on what category you're looking in or what discipline you're looking in, right?
Okay.
But they're all specifically to themed entertainment, which is the whole purpose of Bohdri.
Cool. Oh, by
That's
the way, what does Bohdri mean? Is that a word in a different language? What's it come from? What's the origin?
it actually it's a variation on the Bohdri tree,
Oh, Bohdri tree.
which is like the tree of enlightenment, right? So the whole idea
Oh,
here is to give
see.
you as much information as we can and democratize it, right?
I see.
Um,
Yeah, it's like, is it in India or something? It's, I think,
exactly.
like in
Yeah,
yoga
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Totally, totally.
Okay.
So that was the whole point, is that we really um, disliked the idea that all this information was held by just a couple people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We wanted everybody to have access to all the gigs out there so that they could get hired and do incredible work in the industry that we all do, right?
Gotcha. Cool. Cool. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we definitely share the same goals. I mean, I have this little podcast right now, but the goal is to kind of disseminate the information and democratize it to help as many people as we can. So that's definitely really admirable.
I think that's incredible. Yeah, because
Mhm.
that's we have an incredible community in themed entertainment,
Yeah.
and any way that we can nurture that, I think is just incredible. We've
Mhm.
got great people in this industry. We really do.
Um, Jacob, do you have anything to add about some of your how this website works or any comments?
Yeah. Yeah. So to touch on that point that we were just talking about, the whole reason I'm very interested in this project was because all of my jobs in the themed entertainment industry came from networking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's who you know, it's where something's happening when, and sometimes it's just kind of dumb luck that you stumble upon a job and get connected. Which is great, but is also extremely frustrating for some people to try and stumble upon somebody here and there and get into a job. And there are jobs out there that are open, and there are people who fit that job, and sometimes they just don't connect because they don't know the right person.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a shame in this day and age that that's still the case.
Yeah.
That some people have a hard time making new connections, especially when you're, if I was a student, it makes total sense, right? I can go to these events, I can network, I can do all the things I can do when I'm young. But now that I have a full-time job and have to you know uh, do certain things that I didn't have to do when I was a student, have responsibilities and, you know, go to different events. I don't have the networking opportunities that I think I had back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to come out of a job, or you just got laid off and you're now looking for freelance work, I know it can be difficult to network. So what we're hoping Bohdri does is, you can sign up for Bohdri, and Bohdri just does the work for you, right? You don't actually have to go on Bohdri. You could just have an account on Bohdri, and companies could literally just be searching for you and discover you based on your skills and your programs and your portfolio, and they'll just send you an email. So you're just doing your work, you're painting or whatever, and an email pops up, hey, another job for you. You know what I mean? So that's what really intrigued me about the idea. And got me really excited about it. And, you know, when Alex approached me, I was like, yeah, let's just build it. Like let's just do it. I've been coding since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So not a while, but I do have a company back in Cincinnati that helped me to understand, you know, the coding process, and that company's been running successfully for the last 5 years. So, you know, jumping into this one was something that I knew, but also I learned a lot from. And, you know, it was just exciting to work with another person who was just as motivated. And, you know, to be able to pull it off and get it to this point is great. And now we're getting to a stage where we're starting to get the feedback stage, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. And Alex, did you want to talk about the company side of things? I know we talked about the individual, but as a company, you know, I'm sure it's frustrating as well. Like, I know it can be frustrating for individuals, but what about if you're looking for freelancers?
So it was, Chris, it was, no matter if we were looking for freelancers or if we were looking for somebody that was like a full-time hire at the office, you know, we'd have our Rolodex of 60, 70, 100 people, whoever that might be. And you'd go through that Rolodex, and the amount of time that we would waste trying to just find people's information or see when they were available, if they were available, where in the world they were, what project they were on, was just mind-numbing. You know, we would spend probably at least a resource a week for 2 days. Of that week would be spent on a type of recruitment. That's a lot of time in an office for resources being spent on something that doesn't need to be spent on. It was just a complete, supreme waste of time. So on the dashboard side for the company side, we said, how do we make it as streamlined as possible, right? So the first way, of course, is that you can just discover talent, right? I can go through and search all the candidates on Bohdri and filter them by job type, discipline, or role, right? I can even go in here and search for people like this pretty face here.
Yeah, Jacob.
And, you know, we can look at the bio, we can look at the roles, we can look at the programs, any references that he or she might have, their education, and of course, you know, their portfolio, right? We can look at, kind of get a hint of what they are, what we were talking about before. On top of that, I can just reach out to Jacob, right? So I can email Jacob if I want. I can call him directly. His information is there. So at first blush, Bohdri is just an incredible Rolodex, right?
Okay.
On top of that, I can actually create job postings, right? So I can create a job posting. For instance, like here's a position that we had just created of an art director, right? I can list all the details, put all the details of that position in there, the summary of that position, what programs I need that person to use, any responsibilities. I can then publish that to the system, or I can just search candidates, right? So I can go in here and say, based on the information that I gave you, Bohdri, discover that talent pool for me. And what it'll do is it'll bring up all of the candidates that are available, work on the programs that you're looking for. It filters all this information for you, right? So for instance, based on the art direction position that we just posted, we've got about 37 people currently available and you know, could be a possibility for this position, right? From here, I can look at each individual person. I can shortlist them. I can actually let them know that I'm wanting to hire them, etc. Right, and I can go down the whole HR route as far as getting that person onboarded. Right.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I have a calendar on my end as far as the company to manage the resources and the projects that we've got. Right? So I can add projects here. I can add all the roles that we've got to that project. And then I can start to understand when people are coming, when they're going, based on the postings that we've put on to Bohdri, right?
Yeah.
So it's acting for the HR manager or the project manager, production manager in the office, as a tool, as kind of a HR tool resource, to find those people as quickly as possible and onboard them as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Now, quick thing here. If you are someone who is currently working in the HR department, is Bohdri kind of like replacing an HR person?
That's an awesome question. What we're trying to do is we're trying to bolster and support their workflow, right?
Mm-hmm.
At no means, I don't think Bohdri is ever going to replace anybody. I think the whole purpose is that, let's say that HR manager, like in our old office, if that HR person was spending 2 days a week just on recruiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that person could focus more inward on the company, or focus on other tasks that are more important than just recruiting, right?
Yeah.
So instead of spending 2 days a week, maybe they're spending a day a week, and then that extra day that they found, or that Bohdri was able to give them, they can spend on building a rapport in the office, or building the culture in the office, or whatever they might want to task themselves with. So it's in no means trying to replace. I think it's just trying to help them not lose time.
Yeah, I think this is like giving them a better tool to do their job even better at an even higher level. And it allows them to have more free time to do what's important to them, rather than going through a Rolodex and just calling and a bunch of numbers, right?
Completely.
Wow, that's really cool. I know a lot of companies will contact me and I need to give them information, and they create this custom Bohdri for themselves, but that's internal at their company, like a PDF book or files amongst files of designers and stuff. So this kind of consolidates everything in one place.
Yeah, I mean, we would have folders and folders and folders of people, and from art directors to illustrators to you name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a whole file structure in your server in the office, and it's like, that doesn't need to be. And then you're trying to constantly make it up to date. And is this the wrong resume? Is this the wrong information? All that stuff is on Bohdri. You don't have to manage that anymore, right?
I see. Okay, cool. Yeah, it would be great if everyone could jump on this. And then, it's just kind of where everyone's attention is right now,
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Completely.
But yeah, so we're coming up to like half an hour, and I do want to respect your time. I'm sure you have more work to do. Is there any last words you'd like to conclude? I mean, thank you so much for this great presentation. Anything else you'd like to add, Jacob and Alex?
I would just say thank you, Chris. I mean, this is an awesome opportunity to get on here and chat about Bohdri, and we're always available, always open. If you guys have any questions out there, want to chat Bohdri, or want to give us some ideas or thoughts or features. Our feature list coming down the pike is like miles and miles long.
Don't remind me.
But yeah, no, I mean, we constantly want to make this thing better. So any thoughts or ideas, we're always open. So thanks, Chris. I appreciate the time.
Quick last thing, of course, this is important. How much is it to sign up? If I'm a company or if I'm an individual, what does your pricing structure look like?
Cool. Yeah, no, totally. For individual members, it's completely free. So you just get on there, you put your information on. For company side, it really just depends on the size of the company. So it goes anywhere from $1,500 a year, which is considerably reasonable, depending. Where like some of those other ads out there are about $400 a pop. We're saying unlimited for $1,500 a year.
Yeah.
And then it goes up from there, right? So just depending on the size of the firm itself. But yeah, so it's that's kind of on the pricing model itself.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. Yeah, I'll go and make an account, sign up. I'll get started at this. This sounds great.
Please
Great.
do, man. Yeah, get on there. Get some gigs.
All right. All right. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you so much for your time, Alex and Jacob. If you can do me one quick favor, could you email me a professional headshot? I'll put you guys on the YouTube, the thumbnail. So
Cool.
people know it's you, and you can share it on your own social networks, and let your friends and colleagues know that, hey, you were on this podcast. And yeah, we'll spread the word.
Sounds great.
Perfect, man.
Cool.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Bye.